KaptainKootie crew! I hope everybody out there is staying safe right now. Today it's Tuesday and that means it's video day here on my channel. Now that I've surpassed my initial goal size of a 00 gauge and I've been stretching my ears for over 2 years, I wanted to do a bit of a series reflecting back on all of the things that I've learned since I started. I'm definitely not a professional, but I do have over 2 years of experience now under my belt, a lot of trial and error because I've tried so many different things. And in that period, there have been a handful of things that I really wish I had known when I started because it would have saved me quite a few headaches. And that's the topic of today's video. Okay, without further ado, let's get started. The first thing that I wish that I had known when I started was what irritated ears felt like. Having never stretched my ears before, I had been using some metals that were irritating my ears and had no clue because that's what I had been using from the beginning. So when I switched to just glass plugs, it was a game changer and it felt so soothing to have them in my ears. And then I realized that this like dryness and sort of like feeling of irritation, which I didn't even realize was irritation, which had been there the entire time. And I'm sure that impacted my healing time for my stretching. So I really, really wish I had known what that was like before I started so that I could have identified it way earlier and said, hey, my ears don't like the tunnels I have in, or my ears do not like the tape, because that's a big one. While I was taping my ears, they kept getting really dried out really fast, and I was like constantly lubricating them. But I'm pretty sure now in hindsight that they were just very irritated by the tape material. So on that note, my recommendation for myself would have been to start out with glass plugs when stretching. I was using some very cheap internet pack of tapers and tunnels. But yeah, the quality of the metal was not great, which is why the stretching kit, I'm sure, was so cheap. When I was at a 1 gauge size, that in-between size, I did get another very cheap, like, one-off set of tapers and tunnels. And I remember during that, my ears got so itchy. Like, very, very itchy. And that's the first time I realized that my ears were irritated by the material. And, so that was, like, it at its worst. But again, it was supposed to be ear-safe metal, but my ears just did not get along with it. Yeah, it's no good. I really wish that I had started off with glass plugs for the entirety of my stretching time, because if I had been wearing glass plugs, which are super recommended for when you stretch your ears just because the material isn't porous, it's very smooth, it's very soothing for your ears, very unlikely to irritate your ears, then I would have known when I put in a pair of bad quality steel tunnels, oh hey, my ears are reacting badly to this. Whereas instead of the other way around where I went from like, this is my normal to, oh wow, this feels so much better. KaptainKootie, please start with the glass. On a very similar note, the second thing that I wish that I had learned was to be aware of the materials in the jewelry, especially after fresh stretching. Acrylic is not recommended for freshly stretched ears, along with things like stone or wood, because they're more porous and they can get some bacteria in there, which is why they're really not recommended for freshly stretched holes. So these that I have in right now are stone, but my ears have been stretched for a month and I've been feeling totally happy, so I thought it was safe to put in these. But when I first started, like I said, I had no idea that it could be bad. Nothing bad happened. I just wish I was a little bit more aware of it. Again, I highly recommend glass. And the thing is, like the cheaper metals and the acrylic and all of that are more cost effective. When I first started, I was basically trying to make this whole ear stretching journey as cost effective as possible. which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but because of that, I was using materials that were potentially unsafe and bad metals, which were hurting my ears, and it would have been much better for my ears along the way if I had invested a little bit more money in better quality kits and trusted metals and materials and all of that. The third thing that I wish I had tried way sooner in my ear stretching journey is dead stretching. Dead stretching just means that you're not using tapers or tape or anything to size up. You're only inserting larger jewelry. I'm not 100% against tapers. I think they can be a great tool for stretching your ears if you are listening to your ears. If you're using tapers to force a stretch, then it is not good for your ears anymore. And one of the things I was really dedicated to on this ear stretching journey was making sure that all of my stretches were painless and smooth and didn't require a ton of pressure or anything. So I'm really happy that I stuck to that, because your ears will tell you when they're ready to stretch and when they're not. So if you put in a taper and it doesn't move in your ear, that means that your ears aren't ready to stretch. If you have to force your taper through your ear, all you're doing is hurting it. I think tapers are fine if used correctly. Anyway, so back to dead stretching. They do have a ton of plugs that have the rounded edges. You guys have seen these a ton on my channel, I'm sure. These are the glass plugs, and they have this rounded edge. They're very smooth, and it's very easy to use for dead stretching in that case. And then if you're doing that, you know for sure that your ears are ready to stretch up, because if the jewelry just goes in, then your ears are happy and fine. I think that is a great option, and most likely what I'm going to be doing from here on out for as long as I decide to stretch. Just because now I'm more aware that the tape was really bothering my ears, so that's kind of out of the picture. And so far has been my favorite method of stretching. The fourth thing that I wish I had known about when I first started was that stretching balm is better than coconut oil. I was pretty set on using coconut oil again because I was trying to make it crazy cost effective. And I know that coconut oil reacts really well with my skin, but they do make balm that is specifically for stretching your ears, so it has a mix of different oils and things like that in it. And I eventually decided to give it a try, so I bought some stretching balm, and I need so much less moisturizing of my ears since I switched to it, which I'm sure means my ears are so much happier with me using the balm rather than the coconut oil. I would recommend looking into that as opposed to I've seen people on the internet using like regular home oils, kind of like I was doing. But the stretching balm, I think, is definitely the way to go. And I've been using this for a lot of months now, like a lot. And it's only half gone. So as small as this looks, it has lasted me a long time. Let's see, we got almond oil, jojoba oil, beeswax, tea tree oil, myrrh oil. Right? That's so bougie and so much better for my ears. Get on that, Cootie. Get yourself some balm. And the last and final thing that I wish I had tried sooner in my ear stretching journey was to consult a piercing shop. Because again, I am not a professional, but there are professionals out there who are willing to talk to you and help you along in this ear stretching journey. I also know that a lot of piercing shops will do the stretching process for you, and that is a great option in case you're having trouble or you're nervous or just want to have it be done by a professional to know that it's going well. I didn't consult my piercing shop for a really long time, and I finally went in there all upset as to why my ears were so angry. Like they just looked red and like kind of swollen, but only on the inside. But I was like, something is wrong, they're not happy. So I went to the piercing shop, was able to talk to somebody there, and they were the ones who said, hey, your ears are having an allergic reaction to whatever you have in right now. And they said, only use glass for a little bit and see if it goes away. which it did. Without consulting the pros at the piercing shop, I have no idea how long it would have taken me to realize that my ears were having an allergic reaction, because I've been really taking care of my ears and they were still really upset, and I was so frustrated because I thought maybe there was some sort of aftercare step I was missing. And really it was because, again, my ears were getting irritated by the material of the jewelry that I was using. There are professionals out there. They can help you along the way. Maybe check in every now and then, have them, take a peek, see what's going on. With all that said, I am still very happy with the state that my ears are in right now, and I am glad that I was able to learn all of these things along the way. Better late than never. You can check out my entire journey on my channel, and I will continue to keep you guys updated as I keep stretching my ears. So, thanks everyone for coming to watch. Now, these are 5 things that I wish that I had known when I started my ear stretching journey. I would love to hear from you guys if you are stretching your ears, what things you wish you had known or learned early on in the process that would have helped you in your journey. You guys are super rad, and I love hanging out with you here on my channel. Thank you for watching and for offering so much awesome feedback in the world of ear stretching. If you found this useful, please give it a thumbs up. If you're interested, check out all the other videos that I have on my channel, and subscribe if you want to stay tuned for more. I'll catch you guys next time.